Here we go. Welcome to Catholic Moms Fall Book Club. We're on the third and final, sadly, week of Real Moms of Real Saints by Colleen Prisvich, and it is out from Pauline Books and Media. I love the cover. I'm always so fascinated by the cover of books.
And it feels good.
Yes.
It has a good texture to this cover.
It does. That's so funny. I don't mind my Kindle. I would never be able to read at night because my husband goes to bed hours before I do. But I still love a good feel of a good book.
Me too.
I like to hold my books. All right. So I digress. So Colleen, we're so thrilled to have had you for these 3 weeks to be able to dive deeper into this amazing topic that I never honestly in my whole life ever thought of is the mothers of these saints. Even though some of these moms are saints themselves, which is one we're going to start with tonight, which is this tonight. I'm it's dark out here because the weather is miserable. So for me, it feels like it's midnight, but it's 1:30 Eastern time. So I'll try that line again. So this afternoon, we're going to look at one of my favorites. She's very near and dear to my heart, like many, many mothers, millions of us, as they're saying right now, millions of Monicas. This is the mother of St. Augustine, and I'm so glad you could not have not included her.
Right. Yeah, right? She was another one. You got to keep her.
So I have this grand idea. I'm just going to throw this out into the world, into the spiritual, into the Holy Spirit's hands, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think we should have a year of Monica. I think the Pope should give a year of Saint Monica for all of us, millions of Monicas, the new movement, which I'm not a part of, but I really believe it's just so powerful that we can get some of our wayward friends and family, children especially, back to the Catholic Church. But
yeah, I heartily agree. I really, I fell in love with Saint Monica researching into her life because like most people, I encountered her through her son, Augustine. And a lot of what we know about Monica is through his eyes. But as I kind of prayed with her and dove deeper into kind of the what's between the lines of what he says about her and also about the culture that she was living in, I was just constantly amazed by the amount of faith that she had, right? And so often we think of Saint Monica as a saint because Augustine converted, right? But Monica would have been a saint without Augustine's conversion.
That's interesting.
Isn't his conversion isn't the point of her story, right? Her perseverance in prayer, right? Her ability to kind of hit this level of detachment in her prayer where she was really able to say, okay, Lord, not my will, but your will, not my will, but your will, even if my will is good, right? But not your will.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by her boldness, right? She had relationships with the bishops, that were not predicated on her son, right? She was marked as a woman of faith and she was respected as a woman of great faith even prior to his conversion, which just kind of reminds me okay, my sanctity is not dependent on my children's behavior or their use of their free will, in big ways and in little ways.
Don't like that part, but yes.
Right? And there's so much power in the intercession we give for our kids. But Monica also never stopped searching for Christ for herself. And I think that sometimes as moms, we do.
I remember I read a wonderful biography about Saint Monica, and some of the things, I learned so many things that I had no idea about. She had a nanny that taught her fasting. She had such a deep prayer life, and she had this great ability, like through, just practice and the to fast and the
Mm-hmm.
power of fasting. She actually inspired my husband and I when our sons were teenagers going through really difficult times. We were inspired by her life to not eat after 8 p.m. for the
Mm.
boys for things that they were going through.
Wow.
And I truly, truly believe with my whole heart, because eating after 8 p.m. is really, really something I love. I'm
Right?
not gonna lie. Like, throw me a bowl of popcorn, throw me a good Hallmark movie, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
in. And I'm gonna say that I really attribute her intercession for to the point where one of them was his confirmation year. He was kind of like, I'm not even gonna get confirmed, and we started this prayer, like this novena for him, but also through the intercession of Monica and some fasting, lots of fasting, this 8 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
fast. And like the craziest coincidence, this son who knew nothing about what we were doing and who I was praying to, his confirmation name is Augustine.
I love
Right?
it.
You can't make
You
this
can't
stuff up.
choose. No, you can't.
God God is so amazing, and so are his holy saints. Was there
Mhm.
anything about her in particular that you'd like the readers to kind of know?
Um, hmm. I hope that through reading like this chapter of her to that readers are going to be able to kind of see her for herself, right? Because like she
Mm,
is a saint within the church. And so she is held up as a model for us, you know. And she's more than Augustine's mom. I mean, she
I
is
love
that
that.
and she did that amazingly. But like she's also her own person, which is really cool and she's really quite fun.
And it's such an important lesson for moms to know
Mhm.
that your identity is not rooted in your child. That's a really powerful lesson. I'm so glad that you included that, Colleen. And we're
Yeah.
talking with Colleen Pressfish. Her book is Real Moms of Real Saints, Pauline Books and Media. The next one is
Ooh.
completely new to me. Martha,
Yeah.
mother of Venerable
Augustus
Augustus Tolton.
Bolton. Martha. Oh my heavens, this woman. Um, so incredible. First, I want to say that most of the stories about Augustus Tolton and most of the biographies that exist that are published are wrong. I
Whoa.
I know. So in my digging and in my researching, I was able to connect with this incredible archivist who actually wrote the history portion of his Presidio for his cause for canonization. And she fell in love with Martha. And so she kept doing all of this digging. And
Wow.
so a lot of the stories that are told about the Tolton family, whose name was not actually Tolton. So in the book, you'll see that she is Martha Jane or Martha Jane Chisley, but she is not Tolton.
Oh,
um,
interesting.
but like the story of the family's escape from slavery, like there's all kinds of pieces that kind of even for a saint so new and so
Mm.
recent as Venerable Augustus, there's still a lot of legend there. But if you like dig into the reality of her life, it's so much more powerful. And this is a woman who was harmed deeply by the Catholic Church in a lot of ways. Right? She was enslaved to Catholics.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. Um, Augustus's father, likely an enslaver, a Catholic one.
Oh, that's hard.
So like the horrors of that, right? And it didn't stop after the family escaped to freedom, right? They were still met with incredible amounts of racism,
Mm.
incredible amounts of like bricks being thrown through windows because she wanted to put Augustus into Catholic school. Like these are all Catholics. When he tried to get to seminary, every single seminary here in the United States said no because of his race,
Wow.
right? Um, But for Martha, what fascinated me was that, like, upon escaping from slavery, she let go of all of the ties to her former life, like everything,
Wow.
except for her Catholic faith.
So how did you uncover how she became Catholic?
She was baptized Catholic by her enslavers.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Talk
So
about God bringing.
it was chosen for her.
Right.
And the reality is that at the time that she was living, there were a lot of other churches, the Methodists in particular, who were treating African Americans with dignity, who were not segregating their parishes, who were, like upholding and respecting these individuals. Um, and and yet, like, Martha stayed Catholic.
Wow. Wow.
And because she stayed Catholic and because she fought for that faith, we have our country's first African American priest. Yeah.
And to me, like as you're telling that story, one of my favorite scriptures, a lot of people love this scripture, is Romans 8:28. That's a promise from God to bring good in
Mm-hmm.
every circumstance for those who love him. And I honestly can't think, of a better, more powerful example
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
than Martha's life. Like this is chosen for her. It's in horrible circumstances. And
Mm-hmm.
yet this becomes such a deep part of her identity.
Yeah. And so I really wanted to tell her story in a way that doesn't diminish the horror or the pain of it. Because sometimes we kind of gloss over, right? Like we gloss over the harm, we gloss over the hurt. Um, but we are surrounded by Catholics who have been hurt within the church.
Yeah.
And it's important for us, to acknowledge that, to be like not dismissive of that, to not excuse that, to not diminish that, but to be able to stand with people who have been harmed. Even while we hold to the doctrine, the truth, the goodness, um, the Eucharist, right?
Right.
And she's such a force for that.
She really is. I mean, and even people who have been wounded beyond,
Mhm.
the sex abuse scandal, there are
Yeah,
people who are just harmed by priests that say
yeah,
things that just,
hmm,
I've known people who like they refuse to go back to confession because
yeah,
of an interaction with a priest. And I remember telling in one of my talks, someone came up to me and I said, "This is probably not the greatest analogy, but this is all I've got for you." But at that moment was like, how many of us have bought shoes
hmm,
that hurt,
yeah,
that aren't right, right?
yeah,
You think they're like this great shoe, you get it home, you try to wear it, and you're like, ow, this is not working for
hmm.
me. Do you stop wearing shoes? No, of
Oh, I
course
like
not.
that.
It's not practical. Like
Yeah,
you need shoes. You need confession even more than you need shoes.
hmm,
So if you're willing to forgive the shoe and buy another pair of shoes, right? You just, and I don't say go out and pre-shop, but just know that we're so
hmm,
human. The church is so human. The people in it
hmm,
are so human. But God is the reason we love this faith. It's the Eucharist, it's the sacraments,
hmm.
it's reconciliation. It's
Yeah,
it's those things that we need to stay strong and connected to. And
yeah,
I think Martha tells that in
yeah,
her, like you recount that in her story so beautifully,
yeah.
Colleen.
And I'm super excited because Dr. Loomis is putting out a full length biography of Martha through Catholic University Press next year. And I cannot
Oh,
wait to get my hands on it.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to read it. I think she has so much to offer, so much
Hmm.
inspiration and wisdom for
Yes.
us to share. And
Yes.
that's super cool.
Hmm.
So I can't believe I'm saying this. So our
Yes.
last mother, Saint
Yeah.
mom of a saint we're looking at
Yeah.
is Gertrude. And I am so excited to dig to read about her because I have a devotion to Blessed Stanley Rother. He's on my fridge. Like I have like a little shrine on my refrigerator. Got Father Patrick Peyton, of course, the
Of
Rosary
course.
priest, of whose ministry I am blessed to work for. And then Father Rother, and then Solanus Casey. So they're like my little trifecta.
Nice.
I know Patrick is Irish, but I made him American in
That's
my
okay.
own like he's
That's
both.
okay. He's
He's
both.
both to me.
He counts.
So he does totally count. So why Gertrude? Why did you feel connected to Blessed Stanley's
Oh, okay. So
mother?
I love Blessed Stanley Rother. Our youngest daughter has an undiagnosed neurological condition. And Stan, I like in my head, I call him Stan, is, is
I
who
love
we
it.
pray for, is who we pray to and ask for his intercession for her. And I call him Stan because that's what his family calls him. And
Oh,
for
I
this
love it.
chapter, it was the coolest thing to be able to actually speak with his sister, his sisters in law, his niece, his cousin, because he's so recent, right? Like his siblings are still alive, they
I never
still
thought of
live.
that.
In Oklahoma, they're still there. And so, first of all, I will admit that part of my draw originally was because all of his records are in English. And as a researcher, like that helps, right? I can only pay for so many translations.
Oh, yes. I never
um,
thought about that, right? Wow.
yeah. But I love that he is so very ordinary.
Mm.
Their life was so ordinary. He grew up in a farming community. His family was farmers. They lived through the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression and all of these things that we read about in history. And their family life was so normal, right?
Wow.
Like, quote unquote, but like in the best way, right? And so Gertrude was this woman who was very real and very loving and was kind of everything you would expect of like an Oklahoman housewife, but who also got into a pickup truck and drove to Guatemala to visit her son. Like, what? Um, and so like I was just astounded by in the very best possible way, like how regular she was, the way
And
that
like,
she loved.
and you're saying she's so contemporary, but just
Mhm.
for those who haven't read it, this is 1913, and she died in 1987,
Yeah.
which was just little less than 40 years ago. I
Yeah.
think I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
around 40 years.
And so if you like, I had the opportunity to talk with her granddaughter and to
Wow.
learn about what she was like as a grandmother, right? And to talk to her daughters-in-law, which because we talked last time, like that can be a really fraught relationship. Um, but it wasn't. Like
Oh,
she,
beautiful.
nursed one daughter-in-law through like early births and miscarriages. And they helped care, for a son who had cancer. And they like the amount of love and faith lived out in the everyday, right? Like there's that
Mm,
Teresa of Avila quote, like finding God amidst the pots and the pans. Like
yes.
this is a woman who did that in today's society, which is what we need because it's not always like the big moments, right? Sanctity is formed in the little tiny choices that maybe no one sees,
I think that's where most of them are made. I think we
right?
could make that argument, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just myself going through something the other day, and I was like, I know that no one sees it but God, and that should be enough.
Yeah.
And I remember having this conversation with him, like, I'm so sorry, Lord, that why isn't it enough for me that
Mm-hmm.
you see it, that
Yeah.
you know that it was done, that you recognize it as special. In fact, he tells us in the scriptures, like, those are the more
Yeah.
important moments, like what you do in
Yeah.
secret. Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. But we're so human, going back to that being human.
Right.
We want
Yeah.
recognition. We want these big moments.
Mhm.
Like we look at, and I think our society doesn't help this by making
Mhm.
actors and certain
Yeah.
people like superstars, and they're all over the place, and everybody knows about their life, and nobody knows about your little life. But
Mhm.
I think there's a huge grace in that. Would you say?
There is such a huge grace in it. And I think that it's part of what made it possible for this woman to, like not only like, so if for those of you who don't know, Blessed Stanley Rother is the first US born priest martyr. He was killed in Guatemala. And so when he died, he had been living there for years and years, beloved by his people. He had known his life was in danger. He went back home because his name was put on a death list. But he just felt so called, to go back to his people. And he said, like, the shepherd doesn't run, right? At the first sign of danger. And so he kind of said his goodbyes in Oklahoma, and he got the bishop's permission to go back, knowing that in all likelihood, at some point, he would become a martyr. And so when he died, his people were so heartbroken because this American priest was their guy, right?
Yeah.
And they were so upset because the Rother family very naturally wanted him in Oklahoma for a funeral and for burial. And what astounds me, and what, like, as a mom, I'll like cry. One of the things that Gertrude and her husband agreed to, knowing their son, was that his heart is in Guatemala and his
How did
body is in Oklahoma, right? Like,
how did I not know that? That's
and it's so
amazing.
beautiful, right? Like, they were so willing. She was so willing to share her son with the church, with the people he served, to the point of death and after, right?
Oh, that sounds like Jesus.
I know.
Right? Like Mary, like honestly, that's Mary's story. So this woman lives the faith like profoundly. That's I have goosebumps.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's really incredible. So yeah, I just adore her. And I adore him. And yeah, in my head he's Stan.
Yeah. Well, Stan was very courageous. And I think that sometimes, like, one of the things I've learned from going through your book, Real Moms of Real Saints, Pauline Books and Media, is that there are saints and children who go their own path and really make their own way despite their upbringing and what their parents are doing. But there are others who really reach remarkable ends, really reach remarkable places in their life because their parents foster that and live it themselves. Like, I'm sure that most of these women, what they brought to their children was more from example than from word.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Time and again. Like, love them all.
Amazing. And just Maria Johnson is sharing. I love his amazing story. I love that his response to his mother and family about going back is a shepherd doesn't run from his sheep.
Yeah. And there is a biography of him that's really good called The Shepherd Who Didn't Run. It's worth it if you want to read more about him.
By Maria Scampolenda, which is one of the best writers ever. I love her.
Good. She's so good. I love her. Love her.
I probably just destroyed her last name. I'm not good with last names.
Scampolenda?
Oh, I wasn't so bad.
No, you did great.
I connected with her on Facebook, in the early days of Facebook when you could really make these nice, genuine connections. Oh, yeah. And I feel like she's a friend, even though
she's amazing.
Did you get to speak with her for this project?
I did. It was really fun. And she was so generous too, because she was, able to share with me some of her own interviews, and like transcripts and some of the unpublished pieces that are held in the archives in Oklahoma.
Have you ever been to his shrine?
Not yet, but I'm angling. I would like to.
I was so sad. Last year, the National Catholic Council of Women conference was in Oklahoma, and part of the conference was visiting there. I had been to the one before it. I went to this year's, but last year, because we had some staff changes, we were supposed to go. We were on the docket. We were getting plans, and then we were pulled. And I understand that, but I was still like, no. go. I
Yeah.
want to go there. But again, it's God's will, God's timing, maybe.
Exactly.
Yay.
It's on my list. I mean, I'm researching Franz right now, her husband.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, can we let's go do some in person? We'll see.
Well, I loved Real Moms of Real Saints. I'm excited and praying for your new project, which I'm assuming will be titled
Real Dads of Real Saints.
Oh,
Yep.
clever. That works for
Yeah.
me.
Right. Works for me too. Memorable. Yeah.
I think as parents, as moms and dads, it's just very encouraging to
Mhm.
see,
Yeah.
these lives of other people. So thank you, Colleen, for
A pleasure as always.
your beautiful work, your beautiful writing, your inspiration, all your children's work, all the amazing things you're doing. Where can people find more of Colleen Prespich?
You can find me at my website, which is elevatortoheaven.com. There's information about all the other books, particularly those for children and families. You'll want to get a copy of the Jesse Tree. Advent is around the corner. And I have a Lent book releasing this year as well. So
That's
hop on
amazing.
over. Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned the Jesse tree, because the Jesse project is such a great way
Mm-hmm.
to bring Advent. I'm sorry, to bring Jesus into the Christmas
Yeah.
season, the Advent Christmas season, where it can be really difficult for some
It,
families.
it can be. And the Jesse Tree is so simple, right? And the book, my book includes the ornaments. So you don't even have to do anything. It's one and done.
Love it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have all of those links in our show notes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this Catholic Mom Fall Book Club. We will be with more information in the new year for our next, which will be a Zoom book club in the winter. Please be sure to visit CatholicMom.com and subscribe to keep up with all that we're doing over there on Catholic Mom. Thank you again, Colleen.
You're
God
welcome.
bless
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.